What's up, what's up? This is Dominic Hoyt here for We the Students Television. I'm here at Evergreen State College, Tacoma with Dr. Artee Young. Thank you, Doctor, for your time.
You're more than welcome.
Let's start off with Evergreen. What is a little bit of the history behind Evergreen, and why is it so important, Evergreen Tacoma campus, so important to the community of Tacoma?
Okay, so we'll start with the history of the Evergreen State College Tacoma campus.
That's the way you want to start. That's great.
Well, I'm told there's a lot of mythology behind the history of the Evergreen State College. There are varying stories. One story says that Dr. Mims started with a group of students doing what we call a cluster contract. Evergreen allows for students to work independently with faculty members. And if there's a group of students who want to work on one project or one idea, then they can do a cluster contract. That means several students working on one idea under the tutelage of a faculty member. And so Dr. Mims was a faculty member at the Evergreen State College Olympia. And she was questioned by the community as to why there was a new school down in the woods in Olympia, but nothing for the people here in Tacoma. And so she said, "You're right, let's start something." And so she began to meet with a group of students. They registered, they applied for admission, were enrolled, never went down there. They worked in cluster contracts, and then it grew into classes. But it was started, I am told, at Dr. Mims' kitchen table. She invited the students. They would hold class in her kitchen, simply because there was no building at that time here in Tacoma. Certainly they were building a lot in Olympia, but not here. And so the story diverges a bit, because then there's another story that says that it started at Betsy Diffendahl's kitchen table, who was another Olympia faculty member who lived here in Tacoma, but that Dr. Mims, of course, led the class. At any rate, as people learned about the school, then others wanted to get an education. At that time, there were many retired military folk or persons working at military bases or at the post office. So they had the GI Bill, they had the funds to go to school to realize a dream they'd always held deep in their hearts. And so with this opportunity, they were able to fulfill lifelong dreams. And so the campus grew, and it moved around from different places here in Tacoma, namely in the Hilltop. At one point it was at the Colored Women's Club on Yakima. It was down on Pacific Avenue in a building. And then we were at 12th and I think it's K. And we really grew a lot there. That was a time when the campus changed leadership as well. Dr. Mims had been the executive director because she had started this group of people who were showing up at graduation, and people down in Olympia were saying at graduation, "Where are all these black people coming from? We've never seen them before." But at any rate, it kept growing, and when Dr. Mims reached a point in her career where she wanted to retire, she handed the leadership over to Dr. Joy Hardiman. And Dr. Hardiman held it for many years, and approximately 3 years ago, I was asked by the provost to lead this campus with the 100% support of the faculty and staff here at Tacoma. And so things have been booming, it seems, ever since I've been in this position. So that's a little bit about the history. We've always catered primarily in the early days to African Americans, and then as we grew, we opened our doors to all. They were always open. But we more and more people of color and people with limited means who had been shut out of higher education chose to come to the Evergreen State College Tacoma campus. It's an upper division program, which means that most of our students have been through the first 2 years of college or have accumulated hours through work that they've done.
Right.
And so we offer an education specifically targeted to working adult people.
Right, right.